Hello YouTube, today I'm going to make a video about something incredibly personal and something that I've only told very few people about. I'm going to say now, if you think the subject matter of this video is going to trigger you, please do not watch it, just turn it off now. I am going to keep the gory details. There aren't many gory details. I'm going to keep the details of the actual act itself as minimal as possible, so it is as minimally triggering as possible. But if you're easily triggered, please do not watch this video. There's also quite a lot of build up to this story, so it could be quite a long video. So if you want to go make a cup of tea and get some snacks, or whatever floats your boat, then do that and then come back and watch it. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about how I attempted suicide. So a year ago today, as in, on the 6th of October 2015, I attempted suicide, and I haven't really said it out loud many times before, so yeah, but I'm going to go into the build-up of this story first. Okay, so I feel like it all started sort of April of 2015, because at the time of April, I started to get really stressed about AS levels. I was getting A's all year, right, and I was really stressed, not that I was going to fail, because I knew I wasn't going to fail. I knew I wasn't going to fail, but I was very stressed that I wouldn't get A's and I wouldn't do everyone proud by getting A's, and that I would somehow let people down by getting A's. And also I was getting sort of like 85+% in mocks, so I also felt like I needed to do better than that percentage wise in the actual exam. And if I only got 86% in a mock, I'd feel like that wasn't good enough, because I wanted 90%. I wanted as close to full marks as I could possibly get. So between April and the beginning of June, I was having daily mental breakdowns over exams, and over revising and over A levels, and it's really not worth it. Yes, I did get 2 A's, a B and 2 C's at AS. One of those C's is now a B because I did a reset. Yeah, so yeah, I did get good grades, and those 2 A's I got, they were really high A's, and without those really high A's I would not have got B's this year. So yeah, I did get the grades, but it's not worth it. The first little nugget of advice I'm going to give in this video is, if you're getting so stressed about exams and schoolwork or uni work or whatever it is, at whatever stage of your education you're at, if you're getting that stressed about it that it's causing you to have daily mental breakdowns, I mean, if it's causing you to have multiple mental breakdowns at all, please take a break. Please realise there is more to life than your grades. Please remember that your grades don't define you. Your grades are not gonna, your grades mean nothing. They're just a number or a letter on a piece of paper, and you can still live a happy life without them. That is the first nugget of advice I'm gonna give in this video. Okay, and then so after A levels, it was obviously the summer holidays, and so we finished at the beginning of June. We finished exams, and then we had transitions week, which was more like transitions 2 weeks, which was more like come in and stroke animals. But that was the highlight of transitions, right? So we had transitions 2 weeks, and we did work, kind of, not really, but to some sort of extent we did work, and other things we did were stroke animals stroke animals, and listen to talks about drugs and sign up for UCAS. So we did all that. That was all good, and so we finished college end of June, I would say, sort of around the end half of June. So obviously we had a very long summer holidays, and from like June to September. And during summer, a lot happened. So the first thing that happened, well, actually, two things happened at the same time. The first two things that happened were my brother getting appendicitis and me not going to my friend's party. And these happened across the same weekend, which is, yeah, so I'm going to talk about them simultaneously. Okay, so basically, the thing with my friend's party and why like it affected me so much is because the reason I didn't go was because they were going to plan to go out to eat at a restaurant with a food hygiene rating of 2. And the thing with my brother's appendicitis is that at first, when you have appendicitis, I've never had appendicitis, but it initially presents as a stomach bug. He was vomiting, and as with the food hygiene rating of 2 thing, I have a phobia of vomiting, and it's more, I feel like I'm more under control with it now. I feel like I'm in a better mental state to challenge myself with it now, but back then I would turn into the most horrible person. If someone in my family was sick, I would tell them I'd hate them. I'd say I wanted to kill them, and it made me feel like a really horrible person when I found when we knew it was appendicitis and he really was ill. And I mean, not that he wasn't really ill in the first place, but when I knew it wasn't contagious and when I knew I wasn't going to get it, I initially felt so bad for treating him so badly because of my issues with my phobias. And with like my friend's party, it was the same. I felt guilty for not going to her party because of my issues with my phobias. It wasn't because I couldn't go to her party or anything else. It was because of my issues with my phobias, which I can't deal with. So that was the first thing that happened. And then there was like, I was consistently applying for like jobs throughout the summer, and I don't know how many people who like know me in real life or have followed me a lot on social media watch these videos, but if you know I'm like completely unemployable. And my parents were putting a lot of pressure on me to get a job. They were saying, oh, just get a job. And even like my brothers were kind of starting up and like playing off them and just telling me to get a job when I said I didn't have any money and stuff. And I was really, really, really trying to get a job at this point. I must have applied for so many jobs in between sort of like ending school and starting year 13. And I had a few interviews, so it's not like I'm completely unattractive on paper, but I still didn't have a job, and that really affected me, especially because of the way my parents felt like I wasn't trying hard enough. And then when we went back to school in September, they were quite often like, there was this one girl who really likes to keep on saying how people who don't have jobs are just lazy, and if you really want a job you can really easily get one, just because she found it really easy to get a job when she was out of school. But it's not that easy for everyone. It's not that easy for me, because if it was that easy for me, I would have a job by now. I would have money, but I probably wouldn't have money because I would have probably been stupid and spent this money from this job that I would have had by now. So I guess financially I'd probably still be in the same position. And on top of all of this, I was having like issues with my friendships. And so there's one girl who we're going to call her Y for now. So Y was my best friend since year 7. So from like the age of 11 to 17, it's like a 6-year friendship. Yeah, we were best friends from the age of 11. We, especially in years 10 and years 11, so of school, we were really, really close, and she meant everything to me, honestly. Like, we were inseparable when we were doing, like, in GCSE years, and she was my best friend, and that's all. I don't really have much to say about her. Like, yes, she was a bit weird. Yes, she was a bit socially awkward, and she wasn't socially awkward in the way I'm socially awkward. She was socially awkward in that way that she said embarrassing things, and she kind of was, like, annoying when she was socially anxious. Yeah, and we were best friends, and she loved Doctor Who, and I don't like Doctor Who, and so on that respect, we were different people, but we just we were best friends, you know. And I've probably said that about 10 times already. So during the summer, she kind of, I guess this had kind of been progressing for a long time as well. She started to, like, prefer, like, people she'd met, like, for 2 seconds over me, and she started to only want to meet up with me if she had organised it and on her terms. And then I came out to her because, you know, I trusted her, and we were best friends. And at the time, like, she knew I was bi, but at this moment in time, I was only into girls, so I thought I was a lesbian. And I don't know where I stand on this in terms of sexuality now. I'm still a bit sexuality confused, because, you know, I'm kind of like, I could be bi, but I could also be a lesbian. Like, I don't know, but I don't want to, like, say definitely I'm only into girls, because I kind of still want that option open. So anyway, so I came out to her, and obviously, you know, I wasn't into her. She is not my type. She is so far from my type. I would just like to say that right now. Just no. I do not want a relationship with her. Never wanted that, but because, I don't know, suddenly the fact that I was only into girls, it made her not want to be my friend anymore. And as I've said, this has been building up for a long time. I feel like she didn't really want to be my friend anymore anyway. I just feel like this kind of triggered the ending conversation of the fact that, oh, let's just not talk anymore. And yeah, that was that. We haven't talked since then, apart from one time she accused me of making a Facebook profile about her, and I'm like, bitch, please, I have better things to do with my life rather than making a Facebook profile saying horrible things about you. Like, I don't have anything horrible to say about her, to be honest. I'm not that creative. So that happened, and then there was X. Now X was my friend from year 8 onwards, so from when I was about 12. And X messed me around a lot for about the entire time we were friends with each other. Like, I don't know why I haven't cut X out of my life. Like, I think if X watches this video, X knows who she is. I could just say her name, and, like, she knows who she is. She's messed me around a lot over the years. She messed me around, like, and played mind games with me, and she was a real big influence on the friendship group, and kind of turning them all against me. And, like, I feel like a lot of people were scared of her because they saw how much she hurt me. So she caused me a lot of friendship problems in sort of, like, secondary school. And anyway, so when I moved to college, we started role-playing with each other again, and it is this role-playing which caused the mess in the first place. And Hannah, being Hannah, thought, hey, let's role-play again. But I didn't ask, she asked. Or it wasn't really her asking, to be honest, it was more her just randomly starting to role-play with me. She was like, hi, it's Clara, and I'm like, why are we role-playing? Like, and so I just kind of played along with it a bit because I didn't want to argue with her, because obviously she's quite an intimidating person, and I kind of still wanted contact with her because we had made friends again over for last year. So I was role playing with her, and she kind of started to ignore me and ignore my messages, and I knew she was ignoring me because obviously she was still active on like other social medias. Oh my god, this is something I do all the time now as well. I'll be active, like I'll be on my phone and I won't reply to texts, and you know, it's made me feel so bad in this case when I felt like she was ignoring me. I felt like she was only using me, and maybe that was just me being paranoid with her like using me, but she has used me in the past, and the way she's treated me in the past, like obviously it's totally right for me to have been really paranoid about that. So yeah, that was kind of making me feel really shitty, but I couldn't cut the role play out of my life because it was the only thing that made me happy. Like it caused all these problems, but at the same time I was able to pretend I was someone I was not. I was able to pretend I was someone who was in a relationship and someone who had a mum who loved them. I was able to pretend I was the person I wanted to be, basically. Which is why it meant so much to me, and why now, like, I still kind of want to roleplay. Role-playing was an addiction that I think I'm never going to be able to do in a way that is safe, because it's just became such an integral part of my life while I was doing it that I can't not let it take over my life and do it, you know. Okay, so then there was performing arts, which was kind of like a nightmare. It was a bit of a mess at this time because the leader, the director, was like being all mean and being all intimidating, and we were like kind of scared of not turning up. But obviously, like, there were times when I had legitimate reasons not to turn up, but obviously I had to turn up because I was scared of giving last minute notice. But you can't, you know, when you have some sort of chronic illness and you have mental illnesses, you can't just say like a week in advance, oh, I can't be there next week because I'm going to be sick, or I can't be there next week because I'm going to be depressed, or I can't be there next week because I'm going to be anxious. I don't know how I'm going to feel this time next week, you know. It's a mystery to me. So I like forced myself to come even though I was going through these things, and she was generally not being very nice to everyone, and she was generally messing around everyone in the group, and so eventually people like stopped turning up and people stopped going because they didn't enjoy it anymore. And I agree, you know, that's the right thing to do. If you're not enjoying it anymore, don't go. So eventually that ended because, you know, no one turned up because she was not being a very nice person, and that also affected me because while performing arts was good, it was really good. It made me so happy because I love acting and I love performing, and I am awful at singing and dancing. You're not going to catch me dancing on YouTube, ever. No, you're never going to catch me dancing on YouTube. Don't even ask for that one. Singing, maybe, if you really, really, really want to, but probably not while I'm at university because I'm quite happy to annoy my parents with my singing, but I might break something if I sing in here. I don't know. It's just not gonna happen, okay? I mean, maybe one day, but my singing is appalling. Just take that for granted. So that ended as well. Anyway, so then college started again. So yeah, and at first I was really excited because I wanted to be away from home. I'd spent the whole summer basically like sitting on my bed or laying on my bed watching Castle and Glee and reruns of like Criminal Minds and Grey's Anatomy and Higher Ground and shows like that. So I didn't really do anything. I didn't really get out. I didn't really have much social interaction during the summer because, as you know, I've said, I was having these friendship problems. I had no one to socially interact with apart from my family, who I'm not really close to. But now I'm away from them, I do actually miss them, with the exception of my mum, because we just, like, however much better our relationship has got over the last year, there's still something that's not quite right. Yeah, so I had no one to socially interact with, so I just did nothing all summer. And if you're depressed, this is my second piece of really smart advice I'm going to give in this video. If you're depressed and if you're anxious, doing nothing is the worst thing you can do. Do not do nothing, because it's just going to make you even more depressed. Like, if your life is laying in bed watching Castle, it's not going to make you feel any better. You need to go see the world and challenge yourself and do I don't care what you do, just do something. Whatever it is, just make sure it is something. Even if it's just going for a walk. Go for a walk. Go. Whatever. Do, whatever. Just don't do nothing. Anyway, so college started, that's where I was. College started, and at first I was excited to be away from home, but eventually it got really stressful because, it gets serious at A2 level, and A2s are hard, right? And also my mum pressured me to apply for Cambridge, and I did not want to go to Cambridge. Cambridge is the last university I wanted to go to. It, like if I had by some miracle got a place into Cambridge, I would not have gone, and I would have felt incredibly bad about not doing that, but I didn't like it as a university. It's not an environment I want to be in. I don't want to be. I didn't like the environment. It's a beautiful city and it's a beautiful university, but just because it looks amazing on the outside, it just, it didn't feel right to me. It was not where I wanted to go. I felt pressure to apply because my mum wanted me to, and then my whole family wanted me to, and then teachers wanted me to, and obviously, the pressure obviously started to build up really quickly because I was applying for Cambridge and I didn't want to go, but what the hell, I got offers from the other 4 universities anyway, and oh well. So yeah, I obviously got stressed about A-levels really quickly, and then I got like physically sick, and I feel like some of it could have been depression related and others of it probably not. So at first it was just like being really, really tired all the time and really, really exhausted. Like, not just, oh, I'm tired today, or I'm like a bit tired today. It was literally constant exhaustion that would never go away. And at the time when these symptoms started, I was sleeping enough, and even when I was sleeping more than enough, I would still be so exhausted. Like, I would not be able to focus on college work or focus in class because I'd be so exhausted. I'd also like feel really lightheaded, and I was also having like problems with my hand, like conveniently the hand I write with, which really stressed me out. It would like seize up and things, and I wouldn't be able to write with it. And it would just, or I would be able to write with it, but it would make my handwriting even more appalling than my handwriting already is. And so obviously that really stressed me out because, how the hell am I going to do exams when I can't write? And I was so scared, like, I would lose the ability to write an exam because I was having these issues with my hand at the time, and then other symptoms progressed from that, but not before the suicide attempts, so I'm not going to talk about them because they're not relevant. But basically, yeah, so this started, and I went to the doctor after about a month. It might have been less than a month. I went to the doctor at the end of September, probably. So, because there's obviously something wrong with me, and I was terrified, and I'm a very health anxious person, so yeah. And I had like a blood test for thyroid function, liver function, kidney function, I think, and I don't know if I had all of the vitamins and minerals tested, but I definitely had iron tested and cholesterol. I'm just trying to remember the things that was said like in the doctor's appointment after this one. And blood sugar. basically all my levels were normal though. That's all you need to know. All my levels were normal, but I was like still getting these symptoms. I was still terrified like that something was wrong with me, because there was something wrong with me. I was feeling absolutely terrible and I had no idea what was wrong with me, and it was obviously, you know, a problem. So I guess now, after 25 minutes, this story brings us up to the actual action and the actual attempting of the suicide. You wish you got my cup of tea now, don't you? So this was on a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday, wasn't it? This was on a Tuesday. And on Tuesday mornings we have EAP, and EAP was with a teacher I'm going to call A for now. Now A was the most horrible teacher at the time. Everyone hated her. I was really scared of her. And the lesson before, she called me Ruth, and I was too scared to say something. And so in this lesson, the week after, everyone like laughed at me, and she laughed at me about this incident, and I was already in a vulnerable place, I guess, and I was on my period at the time, and I used to get so overly emotional when I was on my period, like you wouldn't even understand. I would literally get suicidal because of the time of the month, like every month. It was just like a nightmare. Hormones shouldn't make you feel that bad. they just shouldn't. So I don't know, I guess I just let it affect me too much. And so that really upset me. And then X, were we talking about X? The one who was ignoring me. X was ignoring me, and I had a fight with X, you know, because I was paranoid. And yeah, I fight with people. I don't always fight with people. I do try to avoid it, but I had a fight via text with X, and I don't know, I just felt really alone, and everything just felt like life wasn't worth living anymore. And so I tied up 2 scarves together, and I tied one end around the big hold in the middle of the top of my fingerboard, and I hung myself, and it was as simple as that. And then I got like this buzzing sound in my ears, and I panicked, so I untied myself. But what I panicked about wasn't about dying. I panicked about not dying and ending up in a psychiatric hospital, and everyone knowing that I had attempted suicide. So I untied myself, and then I had like the worst headache the rest of the day. Like, do not do that. Like, do not attempt suicide anyway, but just don't. It's not a very pleasant experience. Yeah, so then after that, because I'd untied myself, I felt really pathetic because I couldn't go through with it properly. And at the time, I was of the belief that you can only have a mental illness if you've got a really severe form of the mental illness. Well, I wasn't. Like, I'd come to accept the fact that I had an eating disorder, but I hadn't really accepted the fact that I had depression at that point, because it wasn't all the time. That is why I hadn't accepted the fact that I had depression, is because some days I was happy, you know? And this recording is going to stop in a minute, and so I'm going to hurry up. And so if you are having these feelings, or you identify with anything I've spoken about, please reach out for help. I will put numbers down in the description of like the Samaritans and things, so even if it's just phoning them, please reach out. Don't do this to yourself, and I will see you in my next video. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and follow me on my other social medias. Links will be down in the description.